Hello everyone, Broken Strings here, and today I'd like to review the SRB-640 box guitar. Okay, this is a box guitar. This is by Stu Box, handmade out of Australia, a small little company. Great instrument, and I will give you the link at the bottom of the page so that if you are interested in purchasing the instrument or want to know more about it, you can take a look. Although it's not a super professional website, it is a legit website. Stu Box has been making these instruments, variations of these instruments for years, and it's a pleasure to play. Part of the reason I'm doing this review is because you'll notice that there's actually very little information out there on the SRB-640 box guitar, and I wanted to give a comprehensive review of the instrument from a musician standpoint and clarify some things that people may have some concerns or questions. Okay, so this is basically, it's a neck-through design, and it is a 12-string instrument. Okay, and it has 24 frets. It's made out of native woods from native woods to Australia, and it's got some really neat things. It's got a stereo output, which you can send to a wide splitter and actually isolate your amplifiers. And the reason for this stereo output is because you've got four pickups, and each set of 2 pickups is isolated, isolates the 6 strings, and then they can be split to different outputs. So these 2 pickups isolate these 6 strings, and these 2 pickups isolate the bottom 6 strings. Okay, and then you've got your tone knobs. You've got 2 volume knobs for each set of respective pickups, and you've got your tone selectors. This is also a neat gizmo here. Right here is a custom built Stu Box bridge, and each knob, okay, changes the respective string. Great way to tune. Very stable, really stable. So I'm just gonna go over this review quickly and let you know a bit about the instrument. First of all, the setup out of the box was, couldn't be more pleased with. Set up with incredibly low action rate, which is essential for tapping and basically just all around playing. You want to have low action. It's a fast fretboard. It's a hard wood, but it's a fast fretboard. Okay, some sloppy playing, but it's, I mean, the pickups, they're okay pickups, they're not great. But, so you've got basically a nice hand-built guitar here with the cool custom bridge that I showed you. Rock solid tuning, and there's different tuning options. Of course, you've got your set of 6 and 6. You can do EAD, GBE, EAD, GBE, standard tuning. If you prefer, you can do an inverted fifths type of tuning, similar to a Chapman stick or a Mobius Migitar. Another one that I hear is good is regular 6-string tuning, and then putting baritone strings on the other half. Not something I've personally tried, but I've heard good things about that. I gotta say, dealing with Stu Box has been a pleasure. It's quality customer service. The guy is really prompt to answer emails. One issue I had with this guitar just a couple of weeks after I bought it is just a faulty input jack, and it had died, and so I had to email him, and he sent the part next week, no questions asked. Really quite easy to deal with. Now, some of the cons with this guitar, it does have generic Korean single coil pickups. You're going to hear the 60 cycle hum, so I'm not going to candy coat it. When you hear what I played earlier, you can hear the hum in there. That can be fixed, of course, by just replacing it with, you can get some noiseless single coils, or if you wanted to route it a bit or something, I'm sure you could probably put in some humbuckers or something to your liking. But there is a reason why this instrument has single coils, and that's for the sound, especially with tapping. Anyways, it's got a locking nut system. That's how the strings are held in place. Okay, so your locking nuts, Now the locking nut system is kind of a pain in the butt, I learned, because when you see that each locking nut holds 2 strings, pretty standard, right? But if you break a string, when you go to loosen the nut, well, the other string is going to slip out. So basically you can salvage the good string when it slips out, but you're going to need to use needle nose pliers and really pull it up at the same time as you're locking the nut and pulling the slack of the other string, and it can be a bit of a pain in the butt. So when you're restringing, you're basically most likely probably going to be replacing both strings at once. That being said, I haven't had too many issues with having to restring this instrument. Okay, it's also hard to set the strings in the bridge, which I'm not going to get into right now, but you'll learn if you pick up this instrument, play it somewhere, bust a string, or if you buy this instrument. A little hard to replace the strings in the bridge, but it's not the end of the world. Certainly not a deterrent to from buying the guitar. Okay, the thickness of the neck can be viewed as good or bad depending on your spin, but basically I think it's, even though it looks ergonomically uncomfortable, it's actually not bad. There is a contour here, which you can probably see a little bit in the light, the thickness of the guitar being here, and then it's thinner down here. Well, yeah, like I said, it's a neck through design, so you got good sustain, right? I have the back off right now because I was fiddling with the electronics. Anyways, so the thickness of the neck, it's really good, you know. Okay, so another thing that I learned is you can't really do you know, a 7-5 combo where you have, say, 7 strings here with a low B and then the remainder 5 strings, because again, when you're dealing with this nut issue, if you put a thick string with a thin string in the nut, when you go to crank the nut and tighten it, the thin string falls out, so you can't really do that sort of thing. The other thing that you can't really do is go above a 60 gauge string anyways, a .60, so you're not really going to go below a low B. This guitar is not for you if you're planning on you know, having 12 strings of death metal, you know, djent. You're not going to be able to do that on this guitar. This guitar is a more versatile guitar for your two-handed tappers or experimental guitarists. If you want to do, you know, some comping on one hand and then some playing on the other, then that'll work for you. Overall, that's basically the review of this guitar. If I were to rate this guitar, I'd give it about an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. It's a guitar with great playability and versatility, and that does outweigh the technical shortcomings, which are few and far between. So it's a good instrument. Stu has lowered the price of these instruments. I don't know if he's clearing them out forever or if he's going to continue making them. If it's an instrument that you think you're interested in, then certainly by all means go pick one up, because they won't be around probably forever. And it's basically really broadens your horizons and ability to do stuff that you couldn't do on the guitar before.